And
Morning. There, the Time Lords already stole morning from me.
I'm, I'm mad that I missed it because I was actually up and I was watching The Little Mermaid for the first time, and
Wait,
it went
which Little
from
Mermaid?
then it was 3:30, the new one,
Okay.
what my
Okay.
cousin deemed the Black Little Mermaid. I'm telling him that's not the name of the movie.
I mean, it is the Black Little Mermaid.
It is. That's what we call it.
But no, because I was awake because, kicking ain't cheap, traveling either. So I went ahead and did some like Amazon deliveries. And that
Ooh.
started at like 3 a.m. Not 3 a.m., at 4 a.m. So,
Mm.
I was up at 2 and then it turned to 3. It's like, crap, I gotta get ready to head out. So, yeah, so that was
Okay.
essentially me looking at my 1 hour be stolen from me.
Wow. Well, sorry, but it's okay because as you move into your professional dominant life, things are just gonna get better and just a smidgen cheaper.
Nothing will get cheaper,
Oh,
but maybe I'll
absolutely.
have more money.
That's true.
That'll work.
Well, yeah, I guess since we're already going to go ahead and start, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Big Letter, Little Letter Podcast with your host, Sir Hedo.
And Jam.
And today you heard a third voice in there, and it's a well known voice. A voice so well known that I told my therapist that, hey, I'm going to have a guest on. Oh, who is going to be? It's going to be one Keke from Kinks with Keke. And she was like, like that was her exact reaction, a gasp
No.
of
Same
air.
though.
So we do have Keke from Kinks with Keke on with us this episode.
Yay!
And of course, I would have loved to flatter you, but no, that's the like like the truest true of truth, where she was like, "Oh my gosh, I listen to every episode. Yo, she need to go ahead and let Mr. L hit and tell us the story about it." Like that. That is pretty much yes.
Oh, he is gonna have a field day when I tell him that one.
Look, sometimes when you have that smooth, sultry voice, you just
Yeah.
get the panties just melt off. Apparently.
It's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, so how are you
Oh
doing,
man.
Miss Keke from Kinks with Keke?
I am well, thank you. It's a beautiful day, thank goodness, because it's been a little gloom and doom the last couple of days. So I'm good. I got some sunlight this morning, so I'm feeling really good.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Spring is
I miss
upon
the
us.
sun.
Thank you.
Oh, so yeah, today I just wanted to go ahead and have her on. This was the guest that I nudge, nudge, wink, wink about 2 weeks ago because we took last
Mm-hmm.
week off.
Slow torture.
But yes. And I got a Jam. How are you doing?
I'm great. I do miss the sun. I went out yesterday to move my car. I didn't realize it was raining, cats and dogs.
Ugh.
By the time I got around the corner, all the parking spots were gone. So things are going beautifully. But I did get to sleep through the night. And y'all know sometimes when you're on call, and I'd be like, I can't do it right now. Like, but I got to sleep last night, and that I can't ask for more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. Jam does her doula work, and those I feel like it would be hard for me to do an on call job because if I'm asleep and they call, then I am no longer going to be able to be on call.
And you have to get up. That's the thing.
Right.
Like
You do have to get up.
you have to get up, otherwise you can sleep and find another job. Like
Exactly.
that's the
But
craziest
honestly,
thing.
the waking up part is the hardest part because once you're there, then it's like, this is fine. Let's have a baby.
Yeah.
But the being jolted out of your sleep and the alarm on my phone is truly like it's birds.
Ooh.
Birds tweeting and not the calm kind, like the sprint
Yeah.
kind.
Oof.
So I know it'll wake me up, but also that tiny trauma, call it what it is. That tiny trauma that alerts my body awake. It hurts. It really does.
Yeah.
But
See,
just keep some water in your fridge, coffee in your fridge, snacks in your bag, and we ride.
Again, nah, I sleep like a log. Like I gotta have like just for this episode, I made sure I had my what you call it, my Google casting set. I had my phone set, and iPhones are not the best with the alarm because those
No,
alarms be soft as hell.
they
No,
do.
not
You'll
trying to
wake up
be
two
gentle
hours
with you.
later.
All right, let's go ahead and take this into a more kinkier route with our kinky weekly. You've done anything? We'll start with the guest. Anything kink wise in your life that has occurred recently?
Nothing that has occurred recently. I wish, but I'm being very, very discerning and very particular about the people that I bring into my space because I am looking for a serious dom, a long term dominant. So I'm not really playing around as much as I could because I'm really trying to preserve that energy for the right person. So nothing kinky for me, unfortunately.
I feel
Um,
like that's the time for it right now. You're not the first person I've heard say that, and frankly, I love it. I love it for the
Yeah.
subs and the universe that we're coming back more into ourselves and like who we play with and what type of dynamics we want to have with
Hmm.
people. And it's not just like anybody could get this work anymore. Like you gotta
Right.
earn it.
Yeah.
and
That's literally where I am.
But no, that kind of fits into what we talked about previously. It's still kinky. It's just more on the side of just the vetting stage of everything. So
Yes.
it's not
Mhm.
like you're over here saying that. Oh yeah, I just kind of give up on it. I'm in this vanilla life. I don't even
No,
care
never.
about none of this stuff. Like it's just more
No.
like, hey, trying to be more deliberate, trying to be
Yes. Mhm.
more what I forget the word that I just had, but it'll come to me in 3 weeks. Thank you.
Intentional.
There we go. See,
Intentional.
ADHD almost beat me, but then you had my back. But that's what's up. How about you, Jam?
Well, I think I told you, I don't know, that I was invited to serve for Dom Weekend this year with Black Girl Dom Society. So we were sent something super cute this week, and I have a lot of practice to do. It has to do with like the position training we've been doing for the past couple of months. So I'm excited about that, and also to have something to focus on.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's
Ooh.
up. I was it because I did see Black Queer Dom Society share some things. I just try to share from what people have told me, especially you. Like, hey, these are good peoples. I'm gonna share their stuff. So I've been doing that
Yeah.
more in regards to them, and I think what we have the Black Queer Alliance here in Austin. Also, like I'm trying to share more things to people to see,
Okay.
like, hey, these are some solid people. Check them out because one of the main things that people have is like, where can I go for X, Y, and Z?
Mhm.
I get that a lot in New York.
Yes. Which is kind of crazy because there's so much in New York, but I think we both know like there's also so much not great in New York.
Exactly.
You want to point people in the right direction.
But no, that's real. That is. Who I forgot? Who was I talking to about play parties? I think was it you, Jim, or it might have been
Mhm.
someone else talking about like, yo, it gets a little bit crazy out there because so many people trying to cash in as opposed to have an actual like something safe and established. But
Exactly.
Mhm.
y'all rents high up there, so I can kind of get the scam.
It's
Um,
so ghetto. It's so ghetto.
like all right, as for me, I didn't do too much this week. Still talking with the people that's hiring me out for whatever's going on next year, hedonism.
Love it.
Okay.
Got my stuff for getting my stuff ready for the kinky kickback in Philly. Shout out to the fun
Ooh.
sexual.
Yes, I love her. Shout out to Madge.
She is great.
She is.
It's Maj for what she said. The
Oh,
little good boys and girls with
okay.
three Y's. Majesty with three Y's.
Always call her
Um,
Madge.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got going on. I haven't done so much. Just a lot of just trying to get thing ducks in a row.
I mean,
Okay.
I feel that because I'm telling people I feel the season coming. I feel like all the subs are getting ready to be put out on the street. Like, look at us. This is who's
Yeah.
in court this season. And I'm excited. I'm like, we've all rested through the winter. You know, that's when you do your research. That's when you
Yes.
do ritual stuff. But like, spring is coming and we're coming outside.
Oh, I love when the sun comes out. Seasonal
Me
depression goes
too.
away, and the
Oh,
people get to explore. Huh? What made me seasonal depressed? Hit me with this vlog, while I'll figure it out. Cause now I was even tell like Black Spank Daddy, he hosts this event in Houston. He even let me know like, yo, in a couple months we're gonna have Spank Fest. Like he even like, I'll let you know when it is because it seems
ooh.
like it's just one of those things that happen to bring in the summer.
Oh, I love
Exactly.
that.
I would love if people could just get on that schedule, that spring to fall schedule, you know, and then we could really be like, kink season is upon us.
Yes.
I'm
Man,
sorry, if you can't tell, I'm very much into Bridgerton and historical romance.
see, I've only seen maybe two episodes of Bridgerton in passing, but
Gasp.
what?
I saw the first season. I will say that. I haven't seen the second season. Don't fight me.
Gasp.
I know.
Please.
I mean, I heard people didn't care for the second season because there was less sex.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
What are we like really looking for here?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I mean, think about it. Middle-aged, older women go to Bridgerton for the strokes.
They
They,
do.
they do not.
All right.
The older women do be loving though. Like they this is their excitement. Like they're living vicariously through the younger girls because
Mhm.
they might be married to somebody who where the sex might have dwindled or the passion might have dwindled. So this is how they get their fix. So I get it. You're right. I get why they wouldn't like the second season. I haven't seen it, but my roommate loves Bridgerton. And
Mhm.
she like her telling me about the story of Queen Charlotte. Like I'm like, oh, that's season. Wait, season three. It's three seasons,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
It's
So
three.
Season
season
three
three is
about
the
to
most
come out.
recent. Yeah.
Because there was the offshoot of Bridgerton that was a whole season within itself, and now season three of Bridgerton's about to come out. Where
Gotcha.
I
Back to the
think I
storyline.
forgot what the cue was. Something about it's going to be about the older women now. Like that's what season three's. I don't know.
Huh.
Again, I just
Okay.
seen it in passing.
Yeah.
It's about the writer.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh, that's gonna be
This is what
good.
I'm saying. Get into it.
And see, this is how 50 Shades became a thing because ooh, sex, exciting.
The middle-aged white women lost their mind.
Mr. Gray will see you.
Telling you, it's the corsets, it's the handsome men, it's the being out on the town.
The
The
protocol.
chivalry, the
No,
protocol.
not familiar.
But I was literally just lost track of what I was about to say. But anywho, so Miss Keke, you have been sharing your overall journey in terms of like what you experienced, what you've learned when it comes to like various kinks and stuff. Whether
Mhm.
it's kinks that you enjoy, kinks that you kind of side eye, or just kinks where you'd be like, huh, this is actually a thing. What are one of the kinks that like kind of caught you off guard where you're just like, oh, this is a thing?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm very big on trying to discuss all kinks, even kinks that aren't for me, because I know everything doesn't revolve around the standard or the traditional kinks like that are more so commercialized. So it was what was the episode that I've done? It was an episode I've done recently, and it was like, oh, I wish I had my notes. I have my phone, but it was about cross dressing, where the one that made me say, huh, was when we think of cross dressing, even going back to like 80s, 90s, coming forward to how now it's probably more socially accepted, it's always been men. There's a kink for women who cross dress and they dress as men. And like my ears perked. I'm like, oh, because you never know until you honestly know. And like I said, when we hear cross dressing, we automatically associate it with men.
Yeah.
So when I found out that, oh no, this is across the board, women do it too, I was fascinated. I could not find, of course, much information on it when I tried to do like a deep dive and research, but it's a kink that exists.
Hmm.
And I think that's so fascinating.
I mean, I could see it because historically, here I go. I'm like, historically, it has been a thing for women to dress up as men just to get through the door. And it makes you
Yes.
this sense of like power, this sense of like, I can walk in, I can be in your space. I get that. I can see that.
Yeah.
On the other side, though, I could see why there might not be as much material because it's kind of if you think about how public things are discussed in regards to trans individuals, whether like
Oh,
the
yeah.
trans individuals that get the most highlight are trans women, where you just
Yes.
see everything plastered, but you rarely see any talks about trans men. Trans men,
Mhm.
for
Right.
whatever reason that is, it might also filter down to where you talk about cross dressing because I'm gonna assume because I only did one semester of psychology, and the only thing I can get from it is possibly that oh, well, of course a woman want to dress like a man. Why wouldn't they want to be?
The
Versus
Right.
patriarchy.
looking at a
Yes.
woman. I mean, looking at a man like why would a man want to dress like a woman? Like that
The
kind of
patriarchy
pretty much,
Right.
pretty
I'm like,
much.
we know
across
what
the
it
board.
is.
Like yeah,
Yes.
pretty much just comes down to like, of course they want to dress like us. And like, why don't you want to dress like? It's just that's the only thing I can figure as to why more focus and attention will be put onto cross dressers that go on the side of dressing in women's clothes versus dressing in men's clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, people lost their shit when Hillary put on that first pantsuit. So
Oh my goodness.
Right.
As if women aren't allowed to wear pants. Like we don't wear pants every day. Literally every day.
Every day. But not really. Like, we don't exist. We're the lower class. We down here, like, of course you wear pants because you're the labor people. Up there,
Exactly.
those are women.
Yes, the women in power. No, you're a woman. You're supposed to dress. What is dressing like a woman? Define it. Because now it becomes a social construct. It becomes, oh,
Hmm.
I can go down that rabbit hole. It becomes a whole
Right.
thing.
Nope. Wrong pod, guys. Wrong pod.
Cause no, all right, cause let me think. Let me stop and think. Cause Jam, what do you think that we've come across? You're like, huh, this is a thing.
Mm, it's so hard to say because I'm like, my span of kinks is so wide and it get a little dark also that I'm also the type of person that will try anything once, double check it twice, for sincerity three times. It's like, I'll give you a shot, and then, well, think about it. I think more of the things that people do in financial domination, maybe, like the stuff people are asking for, I'd be like, all right. I mean, and for me, it's kind of like, what I've heard most is that people are asking for fecal matter, which is like a hard no on my list. But also, if you want to pay me to just like sit there
That part.
and I don't have to interact with it, like, am I losing anything? Especially if it's like a shit on you and I could leave, like
Yep.
all of it, they would probably love it. And I'm just like, yeah, I think maybe it's not such a hard limit if money is involved.
I feel that.
All right, because no, I would say for me personally, and it was done like in the time when I first heard of it, I'm like, huh. But then you stop and think about it, I was like, I mean, look, it kind of makes sense. Was brought to me via Kinks with Keke, where certain individuals put together their culinary skills and provide various dishes with certain accoutrements,
Yeah.
either mixed in or on top of.
Mhm.
That's crazy because I recall that episode and I was talking to a friend at the time about how like I struggle with texture,
Ah, okay.
and he was like, "I can teach you how to accept this brand of texture," and it was that,
Okay.
like on your favorite foods.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Oh
So yeah,
man.
That's
like
yeah.
in the immediate what I heard is like, huh. But then I was like, I mean, if you a swallower, then you a swallower. Like that's just really
Why not put it on your food? You're gonna eat it regardless,
Mm.
no matter how you like whatever. I mean, which lane is produced to you, like whether you swallow it or whether it's on your favorite cake. Like
I mean, because even when I like thinking in regards to like a more the individuals that understand that you got to make sure you drink your water. Like, hey,
yeah.
people like a little salt on top, a little flaky salt on top of their cookies and brownies. So
You get so.
A little sea salt never hurt anybody.
yeah, just see a certain seamen just sprinkled on salt based style.
I always thought about it on like tacos though, because tacos are like
Ooh,
my sexual food. I tell people I'm a taco sexual. You want to hear me more out in a restaurant? That's what we should be eating. That could be the thing.
I could do it.
Special sauce noted.
I'm making a note of that because tacos. I've done baked goods and a lot of desserts. I've never done food like actual just like dinner or lunch.
Mm.
Noted. I love tacos. Now I want tacos, and I'm like,
Exactly. A favorite.
And look, it could work with your texture. Like, just get a crunchy taco.
Yes.
you never even know.
Crunchy taco, all the fillings, and then special sauce on top.
All
I love it. I
Let me
love
not
it.
daydream.
right. Okay. Next up. I was thinking because you are essentially, you've been to stuff. Like you are not a person that's like, I'm just gonna make this podcast about something I'm never gonna explore. So
Mhm.
that means I'm assuming, based on your stories that you've been to stuff, what are some of the best events that you've been to?
Some of the best events I've been to, ah, and the crazy thing about it was a kink, it was a munch
Mm.
in Ohio when I lived because I lived in Ohio briefly, but it was a black munch in Columbus, Ohio back in 2019. I think it was like late spring, early summer. So it might have been like May or June. I can't remember. It was a while ago.
See, there we
Of
go.
course, I try to keep Ohio out of my mind.
Kink season. We've established it. Spring, summer.
This is the season. And like it was really good because Columbus is a very mixed city, but for the most part, it is the Midwest, so it is predominantly white.
Mhm.
So for me to go to an event, and I wish I can remember, I know it was downtown Columbus. I wish I could remember the name of the bar, but it was all of these black kinky people who lived in Columbus or the surrounding area. Even I think the
Yes.
person I met there, and we actually talked a bit and we went through the vetting process, but it kind of fell flat. He was from Dayton, and it was just really good to be in a space because I have it in New York. I didn't have it in North Carolina. I see it starting to grow in North Carolina, but
Mm.
being in Ohio and meeting people, I'm like, oh my God, you all are like me. I didn't think that you all were here. Like, I honestly, I would have assumed that they would have been in Cincinnati or Cleveland because Cleveland's more of a blacker city than Columbus. Cincinnati has more black people than Columbus. But the fact that they were traveling in tells you a lot that we don't have a lot of activities that happen like that in Ohio. But that was a really good event. It was more like a mixer. Like, oh, these are people who are in the lifestyle, some single, some not, some poly, some married, some E&M. Like, and I was like, I love this. Like, I had a really good time there. I did a lot of networking. I met a lot of great people. Thought I met a potential dom, but like I said, that fell flat. But that was one of the best events I've ever gone to.
Okay.
I love that. I think I love it, especially because I've started meeting people from Ohio every once in a while, and I never meet them in a group. I always meet them like a sprinkle here, a sprinkle there, and they're like, "There's no scene in Ohio," and I'm like, "But I've met at least 10 of y'all. The 10 of y'all get together."
Hey, now
They
you
give me
have it.
a
Cause
And I think that was the thing. That was the thing. It's getting like finding the like-minded people and somebody like, all right, boom, we're going to organize this, and
Yeah.
everybody's going to get together. I know recently they started doing that in North Carolina. I talked to Mr. L. He lives in North Carolina, and the like-minded people, black like-minded people, are now getting together and doing these events and these mixers and these munches. And I'm like, I love that because it did not exist.
because I would say, especially North Carolina, pretty much the South in general, it gets a little tricky having certain
Woo!
things out here because hooray Bible Belt. But also,
Exactly.
but also like certain laws kind of limit certain things, so it's not as though because I know some people in North and South Carolina, and it appears what they generally do are hotel takeovers because you can't have a establishment like a Caligula or a Susia. Like you can't really
Right.
have that down here. And if you do have that down here, it is like regulated all the way down to the tens
Yep.
because hey, we don't do that here. Oh, you want to do this? Cool. You got to follow all these rules that take away everything from what it could actually be.
Yeah.
So I could see how Ohio, because what is it? What are they called again? In Indianapolis, they host one like the bigger takeovers with black people.
In the country,
Fuckations.
right?
Yeah, Fuckations. That's what it was called. They normally have like a
Uh-huh.
hotel takeover in Indianapolis. There's another one. What is her name? That's Dura Johnson. She hosts like lifestyle events and certain events that have like kink people. But I just though I do feel like those events are more swinger focused with some people that'll bring a flogger or two
Yeah.
versus like someone that'll like have a whole dungeon set up.
Yeah. So there was, I believe there's a club, if I'm not mistaken, I can't think of the name of it. So when I lived in Charlotte, Charlotte didn't have a big scene either for black people.
Mm-hmm.
However, the neighboring county of this small town called Gastonia had a huge scene for white people that were into kink. Like, and I kept telling, I did Horrible Decisions came to Charlotte when I lived in North Carolina the second go around, and they asked me to come on the show, and everybody was like, "You lived in Charlotte. Where's the scene?" And I'm like, "You guys are gonna fight me. It's in Gastonia," and you could hear the entire audience like, "Gastonia." I'm like, "I know, yeah. I'm so sorry," but I'm like, Gastonia, and it's predominantly white. So,
Gaston.
and you know, white can be not so inviting to us in the lifestyle. So,
Yeah.
especially one of the most racist counties in the state of North Carolina, I wouldn't. And I told them, I was like, you all know this is one of the most racist counties in the state. I wouldn't recommend, but I'm just letting you know in this region, in the Charlotte metropolitan area, the big scene is in Gastonia.
Man,
It's
that's
crazy.
so disappointing. But I
It
feel
is.
like there is a resurgence of black people taking back their pleasure, but the idea that we have to start from the ground up, like no
Yep.
matter where you are, it's like, oh, white people still have all this stuff, like all this space for them. And it's like we have to create it and then we have to make it safe.
Yep.
And then there's still like black people who don't believe in it.
Oof. And that's a lot of the South as well. Because,
Hmm.
Yeah.
like you said, Bible Belt.
'Cause-
Yeah.
and the worst part is I'm in Texas. Like
Woo!
I tell people regularly, Texas is not really the South. Texas wants to be the South, so we try to do our best cosplay of this. We're Southwest. Like that's who we are. We're Southwest.
Yeah.
West.
Like yes, West Texas, quote unquote. South tendencies, West Texas, no, it's not East Texas, South tendencies. Everywhere else
Mm.
in Texas, we might as well be Arizona. Like,
Right.
Arizona.
because no, like all we have after you get past Dallas, Austin, Houston, and we'll throw in San Antonio because sure, why not?
Like the
Like
major cities.
after
Mhm.
that, it's just a whole bunch of Odessas until you get to El Paso, which is right next to New Mexico. So it's like
Oh,
we
boy.
cosplay this out, and that's why we have like a whole bunch of like rules that don't make no sense. Like I'm surprised we got the nude quote unquote beach out here in Austin, Hippie Hollow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we got that.
But a lot of y'all laws are so old and not relevant. Y'all
And it
have
has everything to do with
quirky
the
laws that you
politicians.
would read about on BuzzFeed.
Yeah,
Right.
I got more than 7 dildos. They ain't come knock on my doors yet.
I feel like there should be a size limit. I'm like, not the mini ones. Those only 0.25.
Yeah.
Leave my mini dildos out of this.
Don't say I didn't give you a good idea though, because I was watching you were on live with Maj, and we were talking about the mini dildos that we got from. Where'd we get them from?
I do not remember. I felt like I got them from a weekend playcation. From
Oh, I got mine from.
Jet Set and Jasmine and King
Yes,
Noir gave gifts.
Oh.
My mini dildos.
they're mini dildos, but like you didn't
Removable
create
dick
it for
rings.
me, which I
That's
just
so
found out.
cute.
I'm like, what are you doing with the removable dick rings? But okay.
Ah, and this one says don't come.
Oh, I love it.
Wow,
Like, did they
but
both
they're
say don't
too
come?
good. But okay, I'm not gonna say what I said you could do with them. What do you think you can do with those mini dildos?
Who, me or Keke?
Kiki.
I'm a clown, so like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put them in your nostrils. I'm
That's what I said.
gonna put them in your ears. Like every hole has a purpose. Nose,
Like,
ears.
that should be a whole different definition of an airtight slut.
This is what I'm saying. These are my
Yeah.
people.
Oh, and like I feel like that's the one thing that people, especially melanated individuals that side eye these things, I kind of just question like, do you think that this stuff is not fun? Like, what are you thinking is happening here? Because clearly there's some fun going on. Like,
Right.
are you just that against joy just because it looks like it's some white people shit? Like,
Yes.
Yeah. And it's the idea of the shame. Like a lot of black people, like, and I can speak from like my own personal experience, not even like me, but like my family, the older members of my family, the idea of being shamed or side-eyed or talked about by others is enough for them not to explore and live in their own truth because of the fear of this person's going to judge me. This person's going to talk about me. They're talking about me behind my back. So I can't do these things because of what everyone else will think.
Right.
I love how that is not in a black only experience because as you were saying that, it was taking me back to Hassan Minaj's special. What was it called? The Prom King or whatever it was called. Because it was like
Yes.
the family thing is like, what would others think? Like that's the one thing.
Yep.
It's like it's not, and then because I guess that's the reason why I kind of just like shrug it off is because more times than not, it's not even a matter of what would people think. It kind of leans on what would white people think.
Ah.
Because it's not just purely like, because, you know, like, is the respectability politics. Like, it's like, who is out here worried about you gotta have a clean haircut, you gotta have a suit, you gotta be, like, you know,
Ooh.
you just cosplaying to look acceptable to white people.
Yep.
True. But they've gone so far from it that they forget that it was for white people.
Right. It was your idea in the first place and you completely forgot.
So whenever it comes to it, I'm just like, go, like, especially, I'll ask a motherfucker, like, hey, have you ever had sex and smack someone on the ass? Like, yeah. Why'd you do that? Because it was fun. It was fun to do. It's like, okay, then what do you think that we do over here? Because it's like,
Exactly.
you did some light impact. That's what you did. Oh, you like choking? Okay, some breath play, a little asphyxiation. Like there
Hmm.
are so many things that are done within like the space that we just more it's like we just go into a space where it's more concentrated, where it's more explored,
Right.
as
Mhm.
opposed to when you're in between the cheeks.
Right.
It's true. I almost want it has to be you though, Hito, because you would be too good at it. But to go around to regular people and be like, "What's the craziest thing you've done during sex?"
Ooh.
You'd be like, "What do you think people do at play parties or like in BDSM? What do you think that is?" And just like draw the connection for them.
That's a
See,
great one.
if I had like Because I wanted to get like a recording thing that you can walk around just record.
Yeah.
Like that
Mhm.
would have been a really great thing for me to do this week since it's South by Southwest.
Oh,
So we just got a
yeah.
flood of people that'll just be downtown where I could just, hey yo, da 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 da.
You should do it.
See, I ain't
People
got.
drinking, partying, enjoying South by
Mhm.
Southwest. Like that definitely would have been ideal.
Yeah, but I ain't got no one to record me as I do these things, and I work overnight, so that means I would have to get a little less sleep.
Wake up.
Like, all right, let me go ahead, wake up, spend a quick afternoon out and about. Like, hey, what's going on? Da da da.
Yeah.
Da. Crap, I gotta go ahead and beat this traffic and get to work.
Do it for the gram. What is
Yeah.
sleep?
Sleep is something I will do soon, shortly. Well, I'm lying. I gotta go with my anchor partner and my dog to this little musical event in like a couple hours. So sleep
That
will come
sounds
for me later. But all right,
that sounds like the most horrible thing.
Jan, what kink questions do you have for our guest?
I want to talk about your low key favorite thing, actually. Primal play. Um, what? First of all, I want some tips because Hito and I have this ongoing thing where like I win wrestling matches and he says that I don't. But I want to know if you had any tips for people who wanted to engage in primal play.
I so my last experience with Primal Play was not great.
Mhm.
Mm,
So it's kind of like it's kind of like this I've distanced myself from it because just like I said in the beginning, discernment and being intentional. Doing that with someone that I know is my person going forward. But my advice from my experience
Mhm.
is to the biggest thing you can do is get out of your own head because it's literally called primal play for a reason and it's all instinctual, so you just do, you don't think, you just do. So whatever you're doing in that moment, whether it's you're wrestling and then the next minute you're growling and then you find yourself biting, you're just letting whatever happens, like that primal instinct, whatever happens. So I've had to get out of my own head to do it, so that would be the biggest thing I could recommend is don't think about it. Like if you feel that urge, because we all feel those urges whenever we're participating in any type of primal play. When
Yep.
you feel like, oh, I should scratch him. Don't think
Do it.
about it. Don't hesitate. Just do it because that's what your body's telling you to do. Yeah, definitely getting out of your own head.
she
I
doesn't
love
win.
Wow.
See, he's not in his
Anyway,
head.
Oh no, we don't play those games around here. Like I don't even give the inclination of her like, oh no, yeah, you sure what roll? No, I don't do the fake. Oh yeah, you won and roll. I no, nope, nope. I let it be known off the rip. She ain't win. I literally
See,
beat her
that's how
with
you
one
keep it
hand.
going. Like, oh, I didn't win. Okay, 2 out of 3.
right. First of all, I win every time.
With literal one hand behind my back. I used one hand and pinned you down. It
Okay,
was a
okay. I
okay
think
then.
that you're like, that's too much. You can relax. You did not have to do all of that. But definitely with the getting out of your head thing. I'm like, I do it all the time. I'm a licker. Like, I like to lick people. I bite a little.
Same.
But like when I'm excited, and I think that's why it's so easy for me to be in like cat mode all the time. And I've actually just I always tell people my kitten is like super cute and I just want to cuddle and like sleep and stuff. But like when I want to play, like I get a little scratchy, I get a little bitey. I need a different cat for that. But I learned about the black-footed wildcats of Africa. Super
Oh.
cute, super tiny, deadliest bite.
Oh, I like that.
Right? So that's the energy I'm bringing. And
Okay.
the wrestling matches that I beat Hedo in.
But anywho, I would also the funny thing is when you gave that advice, I feel like that's the advice that's given to women that's like, oh, I want to squirt. Get out of your head.
Oh my
You hit
god.
that on the head. I just told somebody, I'm like, you have to get out of your head. Because they're like, I don't know how to do it. I'm like, I'm trying to tell you the first step is to get out of your head.
Yes.
Cause like, and then this is not to say, oh, everyone can squirt. Like, no, no. Of course,
No.
there's gonna be situations where like that's just not your thing, or
Yeah.
maybe it's a blue moon thing. Like maybe it's just one of those things where it's like it's not for you, and that is
Right.
okay. Squirting is literally like a razzle dazzle. It's not the main dish,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but it from my experience of working with certain individuals, it's more so like you are kind of putting a restraint on what your body's gonna do because you're thinking, oh, it's pee. Oh, I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yep.
Oh, like it's like you're putting limiters on yourself for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason. It might literally be a situation of, yeah, you should not squirt because you might feel bad after doing it. So keep it locked. You don't need to, but for those that actually are interested, you have to get to a point of you just gotta relax. You just gotta
You
be in the
do.
moment. You just gotta go ahead and let things happen. Because from what I've heard from certain people that really struggle with it is like, oh yeah, there'll be times where I just feel like I gotta pee and I just gotta hold it, and I'm like, yeah, well,
No, don't hold it.
Let it go. Don't think about it. Just let it
let
go.
it flow, let it flow.
You can feel the tense in your body
You
though when you're
can.
holding it in. And I feel like those people know, like you know that you become tense in this moment. And how are you supposed to let anything go? If you're
Exactly.
cringing and your shoulders up at your ears and you're like damn near putting your legs back together, you can do anything like that.
I will say some of the best squirt videos I've seen, especially if you want to go on the Twitters, is from what's his name, Fella Run It All.
Hmm.
Oh.
Some of the best squirt videos, like he is a very nasty individual. The women
Uh-huh.
that he's with, very nasty individuals, and I
Oh, I like
love it.
this.
Oh,
I didn't even
I'm
see
gonna just
that.
show one of the recent videos. Do we have it? We do have a chat here. I'm gonna just go ahead and send that to you so you can see it. It's like, mwah, like chef's kiss of like, mm.
Ooh, blind reaction. I
I need
love
to
it.
see it. Like I feel like that's what kink is, which is why like I tied so closely into my birth work because kink teaches you how to get out of your head and into your body.
It does.
And like in birth, you need to get out of your head and into your body because you can't do anything if you're stuck like thinking and ruminating on things. But it's like, no, relax. Feel this,
Right.
concentrate on this flogger, concentrate on this paddle, concentrate on the feeling of the fire on your body.
Yeah,
And I really,
definitely.
that's kind of the reason why I enjoy it, especially the aspects where I am just trying to learn as much as I can in order to implement what I can,
Mhm.
because there, I am using this as a vehicle to assist others in regards to achieving pleasure, achieving a state of relaxation, reaching a point where they don't have to be concerned about the BS of the world. Like I am helping them on a journey to honestly just recenter themselves so they can go back into whatever this shitty world is left, and
Right.
just realize like, hey, I can take this, I can handle this, and push come to shove, I can come back to him and he'll go ahead and recenter me.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
reason.
Remind me how capable I am.
But that's the reason why I pick up I learn rope, I learn impact, I learn wax, I learn electricity. I want to pick up suspension, I want to pick up fire play.
Mm.
Like I just want to have all those tools so that way I provide a certain experience, put someone at ease mentally. Like it's the whole dynamic of I feel more at ease whenever I'm in control of something that I can be in, like that I have the knowledge to be in control of, and I'm dealing with someone on the other side that feel at ease giving up control to someone that they can
Yes.
trust with said control.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many new people coming into kink now, and I've been getting a lot of questions. I know you get a lot of questions. Um, I hate to hear stories about how somebody got into kink and their first experience is like the worst experience.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
have any tips for people who are like just getting started? They want to make sure that they do it the right way. They want to make sure they're playing with the right
I am
people.
so sorry.
No to apologize. This ain't a video recording.
Hi.
Let the puppers be
It's
free.
cute. I think he has advice.
You have advice? Okay, we gotta go. Okay. He's like that with cameras. Like he sees a camera and he's just like,
Wow.
I have to get it. Okay, well, you just sit here then.
For the
Okay,
podcast
sorry.
audience, a dog has taken over the show.
He usually sits still, but when he sees like FaceTime or a camera, he's like,
Who are we talking to? What are we doing?
"Sir,
Hello, sir.
okay, oh, I love you, but you have to go that way. Go, okay. You now he's tangled in my headphone. I'm so sorry, guys.
Totally fine.
No,
I mean, don't
stay
worry. I'm the
there,
producer, editor. I will likely keep this in.
stay there. Okay. Um. So my, I'm just gonna let him sit there. So my best advice for anyone who's new into kink is I always tell people to do your research. If you reach out to people that may be experienced, believe it or not, like a lot of people don't think that people will respond to DMs
Hmm.
or like respond to messages to even get them started, to give them insight. Hey, I'm interested in going into the kink or the BDSM lifestyle. Do you have any suggestions on where I can get started? Do you have any like places I could like go, people I could talk to, things I could listen to? So definitely starting with doing your research and just kind of googling. I when I started in the lifestyle, Tumblr was a really big thing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And kink was running rampant
I'm a
on
beautiful.
Tumblr and I loved it so much. So like me getting into the like really sorry, me getting into the lifestyle, I learned so much off of Tumblr, and I think it's like the submissives guide
Yes.
to everything. Like I
Amazing.
would read for hours of all these things or things that might have piqued my interest, or I'm like, I'm curious about, want to bring that to his attention to see if we can explore. I
Hmm.
would do my research that way. And then, like, even before the podcast, because I was in kink 3 years and before the podcast even started, like I would reach out to people that were really big into a Glamazon Tayomi. That's how she and I got really, really cool
Ooh.
because I'm like, I'm still learning. I'm still a baby in this lifestyle. Do you have any suggestions? And she would point me in the right direction on like, oh, you can read this. These people are great. Here's a kink educator. Here's a sex educator. These are the people you want to listen to, read their articles, read their books if they have any. So that's doing your research and doing like a deep dive for yourself, and then finding the avenues, or what's the word when you do essays? You're finding the right site
Yeah.
of the information that you're looking for that's actually fact checked and legit.
I love that advice. I was just talking. I love that you had somebody who pointed you in the right direction
Yes.
because I was talking to my siblings about how I hate when you ask somebody a question and they're like, just look it up. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, look it up. I'm asking you as a frame of reference, as someone who's been in this. And I feel like, yes, it could get annoying to get a lot of questions from people, but also, where is the point in which you should be happy that someone wants to partake in something that you enjoy and also that they trust you enough to ask you for help?
Sorry.
No worries. But no, because I would say, as far as that goes, especially when I give advice, it's always slow down. That's like my number one advice to people.
Hmm.
Slow down. Like,
Yes.
because it's easy when you're a kid in the candy store, everything's exciting, everything's fun. But I will always just say, like, yo, just stop, breathe, count to three, like those good old Fox commercials used to tell you,
Definitely.
and just be a little slow and deliberate with it because yes, this is all fun and games, but the shit that we do is dangerous.
Hmm.
And if you step into something dangerous, like you just don't want to like dive headfirst in, because I feel like that's where a lot of the worst experience comes from, is because they're so excited that you ignore red flags that should have
Oh
told
yeah.
you
Yep.
Yes.
why I shouldn't deal with this person. They're doing things a little bit off, or because when we talk about people getting into kink, we kind of forget about the tops, because even being a top trying to get
Oh,
into it is
yeah.
like there are certain things that you can, because um I did try and do in terms of reaching out to people. 'Cause I reached out to several people because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not submissive, but I still want to do things right. So I reached out to several people, but patriarchy. So
Yeah.
finding a gentleman, like especially a melanated gentleman that would be willing to like hear out from another melanated gentleman to like learn
Yeah.
some things, like either maybe they're busy, or maybe they're just too, maybe they're busy, maybe it's just something that they don't do. So I ended up having to learn a lot of things solo. Thankfully, I'm not a shitty individual, so I was able to pick up, because one thing, because you don't need a mentor in order to do this right. It's just a mentor helps so much
Oh,
more.
so much more. Absolutely.
So I didn't get that to begin with, but over time I did meet some dope people like Daddy Hef, Sir Marvelous.
Yeah.
Just eventually started like picking brains along the way in order to like help establish my form of kink, because kink is not one size fits all. Like everyone has a different thing to them. Like some people are just purely rope buddies because they like rope. They don't care for the impact or any other
Right.
aspects of it. Same thing with like pain sluts. Like they are here to test their limits, and they just love that kind of aspect of it. Like
Right.
this is fun. That's all I can say. I
Just
love
do
this
it.
shit.
Real.
Do. I love that there's so much more people in there. I'm a stranger danger girly, and I love that I know so many more, like especially black men that are willing to share, that are doing things the right way. And I always say there's always more subs in a room than doms anyway. Like you can
Every
share
time.
and there will still be at least 10 subs for you.
Yep.
Oh, that's the reason why we made this podcast, because I made that realize, because early in the game when you're just looking around like, huh, cool, I'm just like Mr. Popular, this is fun. And then 2 year, 3 year, four, I'm like, what, year six, 5, 6 now? And now I'm like, yeah, I'm saturated. There's only so much one brother can do. I need more people to be on the uptick on
Yep.
like, hey, y'all know y'all could do this too. There's so many people out here that would love it if you just learn a little bit,
Hmm.
explore a little more. Like I can't, because one thing this is a personal thing. This ain't for everybody. I don't deal with like individuals that sneak around their partners for kink stuff.
Hmm.
Primarily, one, because anyone could buy a gun. Secondarily, it's not ethical, because yeah, I don't want to be like, hey, I heard you did this with my girl at this party. Like I don't want I don't want that smoke. I
That's
don't want
okay.
those
Agree.
problems. But then on the other hand, it's like they're coming to me for a reason. I need y'all to
Yeah.
like learn that the human experience is bigger than, oh, I stuck my dick in, okay, I'm good. Like the human
Hmm.
experience is so much more
Yep.
than what you try to limit it to just because some old white guy told you missionary.
Exactly. Yeah. That's literally it.
Yes. We should do more top episodes. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm good here because my most recent soapbox is that tops need to learn how to accept service. I'm gonna write a dissertation on it, but going around the
Ooh.
nation convincing tops that they need to accept service from subs, and it could just be that. Because if you didn't know, most tops are just brats in like big people form.
Okay. Nobody wants to believe that though.
Such
They
Nobody.
don't, but
such
it's true.
Change my mind.
Look how he looks to the side. Yes,
such a
even
hater.
you.
Such a hater. Ugh. I have accepted more help from you, lady.
You have, but that's because you like me. And I'm working on someone else now who doesn't know me in the way that you do, but I'm going to get him on it too. I don't know if y'all know Sir Sugar, but this summer is going to be his summer of learning how to accept service, okay?
Okay. I love that for you. I love that for him.
Right. Hit it for girl if you want to learn how to accept service as a top.
uh, It's not an issue of accepted service. It's just more so if I can do it myself, then why not do it myself?
Because you're tired.
That's what naps are for.
Because you work overnight.
That's what Vyvanse is for.
Because you can't take a nap in the middle of giving wax to everybody at the party.
That's what prep is for.
So
Ridiculous.
that's a solution to everything. Okay.
Of
Right?
course.
Got it.
So I have
But
to bust into the room like, take a break. You go.
and again, that's the reason why I have been more accepting of service. I have. It's just
Yay.
that it's not gonna come to mind at first. And at first my mind's gonna be like, what can I handle? Bet I can handle it.
It's okay. It'll be my first success story, and then we'll go around the nation, and I'll tell everybody what I've done.
Good luck.
Just like a service top is a second set of eyes, because I always tell people like tops can be consent violated. Also, like you have people coming in, whether they're new and fresh or whether they have ill intent, and sometimes you just in your bag, like you in top space, you delivering whatever you have that night.
Right.
And sometimes you need somebody out there to be like, skirt, no, you're not going to work with him tonight. You don't seem like you're in a good space. And like that person does not go on your list. But if you're not there and you just like, yeah, whoever's next, then you can. How do you know?
Yeah.
I told you, Jam, you got the job. God damn. Why you keep trying to sell me on it? I told you this
Hey, I
already.
got you. It's not just you anymore. I'm telling you, it's my soapbox. I'm gonna write. I'm gonna get a PhD in it. I'm gonna spread it around the nation. I'm gonna take it across the globe.
All right. Now, because I already know we have taken a lot of Kiki's time, don't want to take all of it because it seems like it's a beautiful Sunday up there.
Yes.
It is.
Um,
Well, it was.
it
Looking at the
was.
window, it was.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you got
That
time. It's
continues.
what 2 p.m. after the Lords of Time stole an hour
Yeah.
from everybody, so there's still some time for whatever the weather want to do.
Yeah.
But yes, would you care to let the people know where they could find you?
Of course. You can find me on Instagram, Kinks with Kiki Podcast, and I am also on Twitter at Kinks with Kiki. I'm on FetLife, but not really. It's a little
Really.
overwhelming in New York. So same Kinks with Kiki, but it's a lot there. So just I'm there, but I'm not really
I'm
there.
surprised you didn't make yourself an Antarctica person. So many people live in Antarctica.
So many people.
Well,
Maybe I should. Maybe I should.
I mean, that's what I see most of the girlies do, where it's like, yo, you just let them know where you at on a per person basis.
Yeah, that's a good idea
That's a
because most of the
great
messages
idea.
are those like, "Hey, I'm in town for the weekend." First of all,
Yes. Like you don't even know me, stranger danger. Like what are we doing?
exactly.
All right, and of course, you can find Jam at what I underscore mean her.
Yes, I underscore mean underscore her on IG. Everything else I've converted to Love Persian, Twitter, Fed. Maybe there's something else. I can't lose my IG name. I love it too much. But maybe one day I'll be Love Persian everywhere.
Oh, maybe one day. And of course, we do have the big letter, little letter IG also that Jam has been cooking up, making things looking great.
Working on it.
You can find me at sir.hedo on IG, sir_hedo on Twitter, Sir Hedo on FetLife, and like I just love the fact that we all just said Twitter because whatever that new name is, we just ain't here for it
Who cares
still.
about
Not at all.
that name?
Like her mama name is Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter.
Come on, Cash. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this lovely episode, this little podcast that we have here. Be sure that you be safe with your kinks and kink safely and all that other words that I normally mix up with my other podcasts.
Thinking can't be safe.
Oh, check out Big Hitchhiker's Guide to E&M. Bye, y'all.